Welcome back to another informative episode of the Cultivating Careers in Alternative Proteins podcast, a podcast which features students and early career professionals who work in the alternative protein industry, where they share their journeys and offer advice on how you can start a career in this revolutionary field. This episode's guest, Erin Zhang, worked at Green Monday as a business development executive. Green Monday is a Hong Kong-based organization with a global outreach that focuses on advocating, producing, and supporting plant-based products within Asia and beyond. Erin has a bachelor's degree in environmental policy from Occidental College. During her studies, she worked for the Humane League, Joint U.S.-Canada Collaboration on Clean Energy, the Urban and Environmental Institute at Occidental College, Physicians for Social Responsibility, Green Initiatives, and China Alternative Protein Solutions. She also completed a semester abroad in Panama, where she studied tropical island biodiversity. All right, now on to the interview. Hello, Erin, and welcome to the Cultivating Careers in Alternative Proteins podcast. I am so delighted to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm really excited as well, feeling really honored and excited to talk about it.
Excellent. As always, my first question is, what inspired you to get into the alternative protein space?
As a kid, I've actually always been interested in sustainability and anything related to the environment. I maybe think it's because of where I was raised. Just growing up in Shanghai, I witnessed a lot of polluted skies throughout my life. There were days in school where we would have PE class canceled or let out of school early due to the high pollution levels. And I just remember there was this one time when we witnessed a really high pollution level and got let out early from school. And I couldn't even see 500 meters in front of me because of how bad the air pollution was. And so because of this experience, I think it's just always been ingrained in me from a young age that I want to study or do something to help the environment in one way or another. Ironically, I ended up turning vegan in high school. Just out of curiosity and also because of health reasons. I'm pretty lactose intolerant, so turning vegan definitely helped with that. And after making that diet change, I actually started doing a lot of research regarding the environmental and ethical benefits of vegan diets, and then got super interested in all the animal welfare side and ended up discovering the alternative protein industry. And I realized that was the space that I want to explore my university degree as well as my career in.
Yeah, that's a really unique perspective and experience. Never really gave any thought how pollution could be one of the reasons that would inspire you to make the connection between the environment and your diet.
Yeah, it was definitely a very unique experience growing up around all of that. And I guess also something I didn't touch on was the cultural factor, just the fact that Asian cultures in general, meat is a pretty big part of our day-to-day, not only because obviously we love eating meat in our culture, but also there is a symbolic value that is held onto it. So I think growing up in that environment, not only pollution, but also a really meat central culture really made me realize the impacts that it could have on our environment.
Yeah, and the impact is massive. So could you please share your journey to Green Monday?
Yeah, of course. So actually, during university, I studied environmental policy. And so because of this background, I took on a lot of internships in the sustainability fields, such as education or marketing roles. And during my last year of uni, I worked part-time for a startup consulting group in Shanghai, mainly helping expand the plant-based industry in China. And so because they were a startup, I took on quite a few projects related to community engagement, marketing, sales. And so that really helped me increase my network in the city, but also it actually really helped me improve my overall skills and knowledge of the plant-based industry, which during that time, it was around 2020. And in China, we say 2020 is known as the Big Bang, quote unquote, of the plant-based industry in China, because that's when a lot of international players started entering the market, such as Beyond Meat or Oatly, or all the big local consumer players, such as Starfield, started expanding tremendously. And so during that 2020-2021 period, it coincidentally coincided with the year I was graduating in the last year of my university degree. And so because of my work experience in this consulting group, by the time I did end up graduating, I ended up being recruited by the HR head at Green Monday because of the significant impact I had made through the work I was doing through the consulting company. From then on, I started working at Green Monday, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, fantastic. Could you explain a little bit more about what Green Monday is and the type of work that they do?
Yeah, so Green Monday is a startup. It is a multi-venture platform that aims in encouraging sustainable living through the adoption of a plant-based diet for at least one day a week, hence the name Green Monday. So it was initially started in Hong Kong. However, now includes a lot of international branches over Asia, as well as the Americas, such as the US, the UK, Thailand, Singapore, Taiwan, China, etc. And so the group comprises of Green Monday Holdings, which distributes the Omni Food brand, a plant-based brand that includes plant-based pork and seafood products. Other than that, it also comprises of the Green Monday Ventures branch, which focuses on impact investment, and then the Green Monday Foundation branch, which is the nonprofit sector of the company that aims at advocating for sustainability initiatives through community and corporate engagement.
Wow, it sounds like quite the organization that touches on a wide variety of things.
Yeah, it's definitely a multifaceted approach to the plant-based industry and touches on a lot of points.
It seems to encompass a lot of areas within Asia, and I would imagine that it has probably a fairly good understanding of the alternative protein landscape within Asia. And I was wondering if you could speak more about your experience of what the alternative protein landscape is like there.
Coming from someone who did help from the ground up expand this industry and also just witness the expansion of this industry, there's quite a lot of challenges and opportunities even now. Because it is such a new market, I would firstly, let's say about the challenges, there's just a lot of marketing and acceptance challenges within consumers due to the religious component of alternative protein in Asia.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by the religious component?
There is a lot of history in terms of Buddhism within China, as well as other Asian regions. Meatless products have existed for thousands of years within Asia because Buddhists only eat vegetarian. And so these products were mainly targeted and created only towards and for the Buddhist community. And because of this, the products don't really appeal to the public consumer or the taste buds of, let's say, the so-called meat eaters. In China, we label these products as 素肉, or vegetarian meat if translated to English, but that can be really easily mistaken for the plant-based products that currently exist in the market, which is also called 素肉. Or nowadays, we're trying to rebrand it to something that's more, let's say, aligned to the word plant-based, which is 植物肉. However, when we say this to consumers, they're like, what is plant-based meat? And then we have to explain to them, wait, it's actually meat that is vegetarian. And that ends up also causing consumers to be less inclined to try the products because of the reputation the quote-unquote vegetarian meat has in Asian society due to the history of Buddhism.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, it's quite interesting and definitely challenging, I think, for the market itself. But I would also say, in terms of opportunities, there's just so much space left for growth and research. I mean, other than the expansion of oat milk in China, there's basically no non-dairy solutions. So there's a lot of space for innovation within the non-dairy category, such as for yogurt, cheese, cream, etc. And also just seafood options in general. Other than Omni Seafood, I know there's not a lot of brands exploring that type of product. And I would say overall, just encouraging more brands to come into the market in China or also start up locally there.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add or speak to about the alternative protein landscape in Asia?
I guess other than that, I am quite curious as to how the cultivated meats will do in the alternative protein space in Asia. I think it can be applied to all the other regions in the world because this is such a new and upcoming niche product. But I'm wondering how it would compare to the existing plant-based products in Asia. And I guess we can only see in the future.
Yeah, and didn't China recently announce in its 5-year plan that it is going to have significant investment in cultivated meat?
Yeah. So in their new 5-year plan, President Xi did announce that they wanted to increase funding towards cultivated meats and research towards that area. And that's really exciting for the plant-based space. However, personally, I do have a little bit of reservations because I'm not sure how fast those investments or that commitment is going to be. I mean, they say it's within 5 years, but I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. And what about job opportunities or the career space within alternative proteins in Asia?
Oh, I definitely think it's expanding for sure. I mean, right now, I would say the hotspots are Singapore or Hong Kong. China definitely. In terms of R&D, there's a lot of need for that. But as I said, there's a lot of challenges when you talk about mainland China and alternative protein, just because of the consumer resistance that brands have been facing. And therefore, I believe a lot of the other countries within the APAC region probably have more opportunities or I guess ways for expansion.
Right. Okay. So what did you do exactly as a business development executive? What were some of your accomplishments? What made that position really unique?
Yeah, so when I worked for Green Monday, my main role as BD executive was to maintain and establish new client relationships within the HoReCa space in Shanghai. And HoReCa meaning hotel, restaurant, and coffee chains. And given my international background, I was mainly focused on targeting Western-facing clients, specifically the high-end restaurants or individually owned restaurants. And so I would say a lot of my role was quite fun and unique because it really involved getting to know different people in the food and beverage industry in Shanghai, but also building the idea of plant-based products with them, since you are basically being involved in the front end of this expansion. Just being able to deliver new plant-based products and options to the public, you really get to see the fruition of your work and effort, which makes it super rewarding. In terms of accomplishments, other than helping open and bring in a ton of new plant-based options within Shanghai, I definitely value the relationships that I formed and the people that I have met through the industry. Just getting to know a variety of different people and their individual views or creations of plant-based products is super interesting and unique.
Yeah, awesome. And do you feel that your educational background has helped you at all in that position?
For sure, I would definitely say so. I studied environmental policy in university and then also took on a biology minor. So it was quite related to sustainability. And on top of my required courses for my major and minor, I took a lot of food courses in college, such as community food systems or nutrition related courses. I think that really helped solidify my interest in this particular industry. Ironically, I wrote my senior thesis on the plant-based space in China during the time I was working at that consulting company. And so I think that really helped me dive into the industry in a very, very detailed way that allowed me to explore a lot of different players in the industry, not only from the consumer side, but also from the business side.
Yeah, that's great. Quite impressive.
I had a lot of fun writing that paper, even though it also caused me a lot of stress.
Where do you see yourself in the future, say the next 5 to 10 years?
I'm hoping I can still be working in this industry, maybe taking on a management role or something related to marketing or research, but I can definitely imagine myself still pursuing a really strong career in this field because I just have so much passion and dedication to this lifestyle. I'm also hoping by that time I can also serve as a role model to others that are also seeking to explore this really exciting and up and coming field.
And speaking of being a role model, what advice do you have for job seekers in the alternative protein space?
Just thinking back on my experiences, I think while these internship and job experiences are important, I would say the most important advice is probably just to be confident in yourself. Really let your passion show through. I think a lot of the times recruiters or HR representatives are just really looking for that interest and inherent dedication to what you want to do. I believe that can really show through the way you express yourself, more so the things that you do or say on paper through your resume or cover letter. But with that said, of course, I would definitely encourage seeking out roles and positions in the sustainability industry or anything related to alternative protein, as that will, of course, help you give an edge up. However, I think it's also important to find other ways to express your passion. I personally run an Instagram food blog, and I believe that has really helped me showcase to the companies that I'm quite dedicated towards this industry and this initiative because I'm willing to take part in that space even as a hobby.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Do a hobby related to alternative proteins because A, it shows your passion for the industry. B, it's a great learning opportunity for you. And C, it looks great on a resume and it shows that you're willing to take the initiative.
I believe it's also just a really great creative outlet to express what you're really interested in.
Yeah, definitely an added bonus.
Yeah.
Do you know if Green Monday is actively hiring for more roles in the alternative protein space? And if so, what types of roles and where should people apply?
Yeah, from my knowledge, they are currently hiring. I think it's mainly in the Hong Kong office right now for the headquarters. But I think the UK and the US offices are also seeking new hires. So, from what I can recall, the roles revolve mainly around marketing and sales positions and they're usually posted on their LinkedIn company profile, or you can visit the Green Monday website and go to the specific country, and they should have a Join Us page or a careers page.
Okay, and I'll provide links to both of those in the show notes.
Awesome. Perfect.
So you joined Green Monday and helped it grow and expand. Could you maybe speak to what the size of the organization was when you first joined and the rate that it grew at during your time there?
Yeah, they actually were recruiting quite a lot before I joined. I think it kind of started tapering off by the time I joined because it was already a year in. But when they first came to Shanghai, I mean, I knew the person who was the first employee of Green Monday Shanghai, and that was back in 2020 when I was still working for the consulting company. I think within a year, they almost reached 100 employees. So the growth rate was quite fast.
Wow, that's quite amazing.
hmm
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or share?
Yeah, lastly, I would just say if you're really passionate about this industry and interested in getting involved, I would say just try and let your passion show. Don't be afraid to take leaps of faith and apply to that internship or attend that event online or offline to really meet new people in the industry. I mean, that's how us two met. So I definitely think it's really helpful for making those connections. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn as well if you need any advice or just want to talk or connect with me. I'm more than happy to help out. I hope this industry is going to have a very big impact in the future, and I'm excited to see all the progress that's going to take place in the next few years.
Yeah, same here. I think it's going to be explosive.
For sure. There's a lot of new and exciting things happening.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been so great to have you on the show here. Thank you for taking the time to share your experience and insights.
Of course, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you and explaining all of this.
I'm so grateful that you took the time to listen to this episode, and I hope that Erin's experience has shown that the alternative protein space is growing, especially in rapidly developing regions such as Asia. As a result, there are an increasing number of job opportunities to support this growth, meaning that there's a place for everyone, including you, to be a part of the alternative protein revolution. If you want to learn more about careers in the alternative protein industry, please follow the Cultivating Careers in Alternative Proteins podcast on Instagram for weekly posts about resources, job boards, advice, and so much more.